Welcome back to Stoic Saga, where we explore strategies to elevate your thinking, strengthen your mindset, and achieve true success. Today, we're diving into how to win by outthinking everyone with 10 key strategies designed to sharpen your mental game, help you stay calm under pressure, and focus on what truly matters. These aren't quick-fix tips. They're powerful principles that successful people use to build resilience, adapt to change, and stay a step ahead. Whether it's developing emotional control, cultivating patience, or mastering focus, each strategy is a tool you can apply to your life today. Ready to think smarter, act with purpose, and set yourself apart. Let's dive into the first strategy. 1. Think long-term. The first strategy for outthinking everyone is to think long-term. While the desire for immediate results is common, those who consistently reach meaningful success are the ones who can resist this pull and instead see the bigger picture. Thinking long-term allows you to make decisions that compound over time, creating results that go beyond the instant wins and short-lived rewards. The greatest achievements come from small, deliberate actions that accumulate over months, years, or even decades, forming the foundation of lasting success. One of the reasons long-term thinking is so powerful is that it promotes consistency and patience, two qualities often lacking in a world that emphasizes rapid results. While others may focus on quick gains, a long-term perspective encourages you to take the steady route, embracing incremental progress rather than immediate triumphs. Consider a field like investing, where the most successful investors build wealth over time through consistent contributions, compound interest, and disciplined choices. Rather than risking everything on short-term market swings, they focus on a future that grows steadily, creating true financial independence. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius talks about embracing patience and persistence, writing, "No great thing is created suddenly any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time." This insight aligns perfectly with the idea of thinking long-term. Lasting results require time and dedication, and by focusing on the future rather than short-term pleasures, you avoid impulsive decisions and build something more substantial. Thinking long-term applies to all areas of life, not just financial or career goals. Take relationships, for instance. Building strong friendships or a lasting partnership isn't something that happens overnight. It's the result of continuous effort, empathy, and growth. By investing time and energy into understanding others, communicating openly, and nurturing trust, you create bonds that withstand the challenges life may throw your way. A practical way to start thinking long-term is to create a personal vision statement that outlines where you want to see yourself in the next 5, 10, or even 20 years. This isn't about rigidly mapping out every step, but about setting a general direction for your actions. Once you have a vision, break it down into milestones that allow for progress without the pressure of achieving everything at once. These milestones give you a roadmap, allowing you to measure growth in manageable steps while staying focused on the bigger picture. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you're looking to improve your health and fitness. A short-term thinker might jump into extreme diets or workout programs, hoping for rapid results, which often lead to burnout and eventual setbacks. However, a long-term approach would involve setting up a sustainable routine, focusing on gradual improvements in diet, consistency in exercise, and regular rest. Although the results may take longer to manifest, this approach builds habits that are more likely to last. leading to long-term physical and mental health improvements. To reinforce long-term thinking in your own life, try using the 5-year question whenever you're faced with a significant decision. Will this choice bring me closer to where I want to be 5 years from now, or is it only a short-term fix? This question helps you filter out options that may seem tempting now, but don't align with your ultimate goals. By thinking this way, you can focus on decisions that support your future growth, rather than choices that provide instant satisfaction. It's also helpful to reflect on the benefits of compounding in different aspects of life. For example, in learning, practicing a skill regularly over time builds proficiency far beyond what short bursts of intense effort can achieve. Whether it's studying, building a new hobby, or honing professional expertise, the small daily investments compound, leading to substantial improvement. The same concept applies to personal growth. Small, consistent acts of kindness, discipline, or self-reflection add up over time, shaping your character and approach to life. The Stoics understood that focusing on a long-term vision brings clarity and resilience, qualities that prevent you from being easily swayed by setbacks or distractions. Seneca wrote about the importance of a stable mind, unaffected by external turmoil, which is only achievable when we have a clear direction. Long-term thinking grounds us and provides purpose, making it easier to navigate life's challenges without losing sight of what truly matters. In summary, the advantage of thinking long-term lies in its ability to ground you in a purpose that withstands short-term obstacles. By resisting the pull of instant gratification and instead focusing on your larger vision, you make deliberate choices that align with your goals and values. The next time you're tempted to act impulsively, remind yourself of your long-term aspirations. Remember, the greatest successes are rarely immediate, but they're worth the wait. 2. Set the frame of interactions. The second strategy to outthink everyone is to set the frame of interactions. In every interaction, whether it's a conversation, negotiation, or casual exchange, there is a dynamic at play. By setting the frame, you essentially shape the interaction to align with your desired outcome. This doesn't mean controlling or manipulating people. Rather, it's about establishing boundaries, expectations, and tone to guide interactions in a direction that best supports your goals and values. Setting the frame begins with being intentional about who, when, and how you engage with others. Choosing who you spend time with, for instance, allows you to prioritize relationships that are mutually beneficial and positive. Similarly, deciding when and how you engage helps you stay in control of your time and energy. By framing interactions according to your priorities, you avoid distractions, unnecessary conflicts, or obligations that drain your resources. In the realm of Stoicism, there's a strong emphasis on staying true to one's principles and values, regardless of external influences. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, encouraged people to focus on what they can control, their own thoughts, actions, and responses, rather than being overly influenced by others. Setting the frame allows you to maintain control of your own behavior and emotions, even in situations where others may try to impose their own agendas or expectations. In practice, setting the frame can involve something as simple as establishing boundaries in your interactions. For instance, if you're in a work setting where colleagues often interrupt your focus with requests or small talk, you might politely but firmly set a frame by letting them know you'll be available to discuss work during designated times, thereby protecting your focus. By framing the interaction, you're not only respecting your own time, but also establishing a respectful environment. A practical exercise for mastering this technique is the pause and decide method. Before entering a conversation or interaction, take a moment to pause and decide what your goal is, what tone you want to set, and how you wish to engage. This practice is especially helpful in high-stakes situations, like a negotiation or difficult discussion. By defining your intentions in advance, you're less likely to get pulled into someone else's frame or be influenced by unexpected emotions or reactions. Consider the example of a negotiation. If you walk into a negotiation unprepared, you're likely to be swayed by the other party's approach, which may not align with your goals. However, by setting the frame, knowing your objectives, remaining calm, and deciding what compromises you're willing to make, you remain grounded and more likely to reach an outcome that benefits you. This approach allows you to guide the interaction rather than reacting passively to the other party's tactics. Mindfulness also plays a role in setting the frame. When you're mindful, you're more aware of the dynamics at play in a conversation, and you can better control your responses. Studies show that mindfulness helps improve communication skills, as it allows you to stay present and respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Practicing mindfulness before interactions can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths to center yourself, ensuring that you approach the interaction from a place of calm and clarity. To set the frame effectively, it's important to maintain emotional control. Emotions can be contagious, and if the other person is agitated or aggressive, it's easy to get pulled into their frame. But by staying calm and composed, you're more likely to maintain control of the interaction. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but rather choosing how to express them in a way that aligns with your goals. By remaining grounded, you set a calm frame that encourages a more constructive and respectful exchange. From a philosophical perspective, setting the frame aligns with the concept of autonomy. Both Stoicism and existentialist thought emphasize the importance of taking responsibility for your own life and actions. When you set the frame, you're asserting your autonomy and ensuring that your interactions reflect your values and intentions, rather than being shaped by external pressures. Sartre's existential philosophy, for example, posits that we have the freedom to define our own existence, which includes how we engage with others. A helpful mantra to remember in setting the frame is "stay in control." This doesn't mean controlling the other person. It means controlling yourself, your emotions, your responses, and your approach. This frame of mind prevents you from being swayed by others' expectations or manipulative tactics. By staying in control, you create interactions that align with your priorities, allowing for more meaningful and productive exchanges. In summary, setting the frame of interactions is about guiding conversations and engagements in a way that aligns with your goals and values. By being intentional about who, when, and how you engage with others, you're more likely to achieve outcomes that benefit you while maintaining respect for everyone involved. The next time you enter an important interaction, take a moment to set the frame, decide your approach, and stay true to your purpose. 3. Default aggressive mindset. The third strategy to outthink everyone is to adopt a default aggressive mindset. This doesn't mean being aggressive in the sense of hostility or confrontation. Instead, it's about proactively tackling challenges and staying committed, even when faced with obstacles. When you approach life with a default aggressive mentality, you train yourself to act decisively, push through adversity, and avoid letting setbacks slow you down. This mindset is about being proactive rather than reactive. People often hesitate to make decisions or take action because of doubt, fear, or the desire for everything to be perfectly planned. However, by adopting a default aggressive approach, you commit to moving forward rather than waiting for the ideal moment. This mindset is especially powerful in competitive environments where hesitation can mean missed opportunities. Having a go-getter mentality means that you act with confidence, trust your abilities, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. A good example of the default aggressive mindset is the approach taken by elite athletes and military personnel. In high-stakes environments, waiting passively is not an option. They need to make quick decisions, act with precision, and push through barriers to reach their goals. This mindset doesn't mean acting recklessly. Rather, it's about training yourself to trust your instincts and act without hesitation when the time is right. In Stoic philosophy, there's an emphasis on resilience and taking action despite obstacles. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This Stoic view aligns with the idea of default aggression, as it encourages us to confront challenges head-on. Instead of shying away from difficulties, we embrace them as opportunities for growth, understanding that the path forward often involves facing resistance. To develop a default aggressive mindset, start by practicing small acts of decisiveness in your daily life. This could be as simple as making quick decisions on routine tasks, setting clear goals for each day, or pushing yourself to tackle challenging tasks without delay. These small steps train your mind to act decisively, building the habit of moving forward instead of waiting. Another effective way to apply this mindset is through visualization exercises. Take a few moments each day to envision scenarios where you might face challenges and imagine yourself tackling them confidently and assertively. Research in sports psychology shows that visualization can improve performance by training the brain to respond effectively in real-life situations. By practicing visualization, you mentally prepare yourself to act decisively, making it easier to embrace a proactive mindset. In a practical sense, consider the example of someone pursuing a personal goal, like starting a business. A passive approach might involve endless planning and waiting for the perfect moment, which often leads to delays and missed opportunities. In contrast, a default aggressive mindset would involve taking action with the resources available, learning and adapting as challenges arise. This approach doesn't eliminate risk, but it builds momentum and increases the chances of success over time. You're more likely to gain traction by actively pursuing your goals than by holding back and waiting for ideal conditions. One of the most important aspects of a default aggressive mindset is embracing failure as a learning tool. When you adopt this mentality, you're more willing to take risks, knowing that even if you fail, you'll gain valuable insights. People with a default aggressive approach are resilient because they see setbacks as temporary. They don't dwell on what went wrong. Instead, they analyze the experience, learn from it, and move forward. This mentality not only strengthens resilience, but also builds confidence as you realize that failure is a part of growth rather than a permanent defeat. A practical mantra to reinforce this mindset is act now. Whenever you find yourself hesitating or second-guessing, repeat this phrase to remind yourself that taking action is better than waiting. This doesn't mean acting recklessly. It means trusting yourself enough to move forward, knowing that you can adjust and adapt as needed. By training yourself to act quickly and assertively, you reduce hesitation and increase your ability to capitalize on opportunities. In summary, adopting a default aggressive mindset is about staying proactive, decisive, and resilient in the face of challenges. By training yourself to act without hesitation, you strengthen your mental agility, build confidence, and ensure that obstacles don't slow you down. This mindset isn't about aggression toward others. It's about assertively pushing yourself to achieve your goals, regardless of the obstacles in your way. The next time you face a challenge, remember to act now and embrace the growth that comes from moving forward. 4. Eliminate distractions. The fourth strategy to outthink everyone is to eliminate distractions. In a world filled with constant notifications, social media, and endless sources of entertainment, staying focused on what truly matters has become a rare skill. Distractions pull us away from our goals, drain our mental energy, and lead to fragmented attention, making it harder to achieve meaningful results. To outthink others, mastering the art of focus is essential, and that starts with eliminating anything that diverts your attention from your priorities. The Stoics, too, understood the importance of focus. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the value of concentration, saying, "If you are doing something, attend to it with your whole self." For the Stoics, being fully present and dedicated to the task at hand was a cornerstone of effective action and personal discipline. The distractions we face today may be different from those in ancient times, but the principle remains the same. Clarity of focus enables clarity of purpose. A practical approach to eliminating distractions is to identify your biggest sources of distraction and create boundaries around them. For many people, this might include limiting social media usage, setting specific times to check email, or creating a dedicated workspace free from interruptions. These small but intentional steps can have a huge impact on your ability to stay focused and productive. By structuring your environment to support your goals, you reduce the likelihood of being pulled off track by unnecessary distractions. One effective technique for maintaining focus is the Pomodoro technique. This method involves working in focused intervals, usually 25 minutes, followed by a short break. By breaking your work into manageable chunks, you maintain a high level of concentration without feeling overwhelmed. Research shows that short breaks between focused work sessions can help refresh the mind and improve productivity, making it easier to resist distractions. Consider the example of someone working on a significant project. If they're constantly checking their phone or responding to every email as it arrives, they're likely to lose momentum and productivity. However, by setting aside specific times for checking messages and turning off notifications during focused work, they're able to dedicate more of their mental energy to the project itself. This not only improves the quality of their work, but also reduces the time needed to complete it, as they're able to maintain a steady flow of focus. Another helpful practice is the one thing rule, which involves prioritizing one key task each day that aligns most with your goals. By identifying this one thing and focusing on it with full attention, you ensure that you make progress on what truly matters, even if other distractions arise. This approach simplifies your day and creates a sense of accomplishment, as you know that your most important task has been completed. It's also useful to establish digital boundaries. Studies show that constantly switching between tasks or screens reduces productivity and increases stress. Try setting specific times for digital interactions, like checking social media, reading news, or replying to messages, so they don't interrupt your focused work periods. Over time, creating these boundaries helps you develop the discipline to stay focused on what's most important. Mindfulness can be a powerful tool in fighting distractions as well. When you practice mindfulness, you become more aware of the moments when your attention drifts, allowing you to gently bring your focus back to the task at hand. Practicing even a few minutes of mindfulness each day strengthens your ability to resist distractions and stay present. This skill is valuable not only for work, but also for personal growth, as it improves your overall mental clarity and emotional resilience. Let's look at a broader example. Imagine you're someone with a fitness goal, like training for a marathon. Staying focused on this long-term goal requires eliminating distractions that might take time and energy away from your training. This could mean scheduling regular workouts, saying no to unnecessary commitments, or even avoiding activities that might interfere with your physical well-being, like staying up late. By eliminating these distractions, you create a clear path toward your goal and reinforce your commitment to the process. Finally, it's important to remember that eliminating distractions is an ongoing practice. It's not about achieving perfect focus every day, but about consistently refining your environment and habits to support your priorities. Developing this discipline helps you stay aligned with your goals, reduce mental clutter, and build the resilience needed to achieve sustained success. In summary, the strategy to eliminate distractions is about creating an environment that supports focus and purpose. By identifying and minimizing the things that pull you away from your priorities, you create space for meaningful work and personal growth. The next time you catch yourself drifting into distraction, take a moment to refocus on what truly matters. This practice, over time, becomes a powerful tool for achieving long-term success. 5. Raise your standards. The fifth strategy to outthink everyone is to raise your standards. Setting high standards isn't just about striving for excellence. It's about constantly challenging yourself to grow, improve, and reach new heights. When you hold yourself to higher standards, you elevate the quality of your work, the effort you put into your goals, and the expectations you have for your personal growth. High standards help you avoid complacency and ensure that you're always pushing yourself to be better than you were yesterday. The Stoics believed in aiming for excellence and acting in accordance with one's virtues. Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult." This quote speaks to the power of ambition and the importance of striving for more. When you raise your standards, you challenge yourself to take on greater responsibilities and tackle new challenges. By doing so, you not only grow personally, but also gain a sense of accomplishment and self-respect that fuels further progress. One effective way to raise your standards is to set specific, measurable goals in areas where you want to see improvement. Rather than vague intentions like, "I want to be better at my job," identify specific areas for growth, such as mastering a skill, improving time management, or delivering higher quality results. This approach gives you concrete benchmarks to measure your progress against, and it pushes you to go beyond your comfort zone. A practical method for raising your standards is the 1% rule. This concept involves striving to improve by just 1% every day, whether it's in fitness, work, or personal habits. While a 1% change may seem small, it compounds significantly over time, leading to remarkable progress. For instance, if you're working on a skill, commit to practicing a bit more each day. This incremental approach to improvement helps you maintain consistent growth without feeling overwhelmed by massive goals. Consider the example of an athlete training for a competition. If they train with a minimum effort, focusing only on meeting the basic requirements, their results are likely to be average. However, if they push themselves to surpass each day's achievements, improving their speed, strength, or technique, they set themselves apart from the competition. This commitment to higher standards doesn't guarantee instant results, but over time, it makes a significant difference in performance. Raising your standards also applies to personal conduct and relationships. If you expect honesty, respect, and support from the people around you, you're more likely to attract relationships that align with those values. This doesn't mean being demanding. It means knowing your worth and surrounding yourself with people who contribute positively to your growth. By setting high standards for how you interact with others, you build connections that are enriching and mutually beneficial. Another way to raise your standards is by learning from mentors or role models who exemplify the qualities you admire. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, whether through books, courses, or in-person mentorship. Observing and learning from those who have achieved a high level of mastery or integrity in their field can provide you with valuable insights and motivation to raise your own standards. The mindset of continuous improvement is essential for raising standards. Instead of viewing standards as a fixed goal, consider them as an evolving process. As you reach one level, ask yourself, how can I push this further? This growth-oriented mindset keeps you engaged and prevents complacency. It's not about perfection, but about a commitment to constant progress. To make raising your standards a habit, try incorporating a weekly review. At the end of each week, evaluate your actions, decisions, and accomplishments. Identify areas where you upheld high standards and areas where you fell short. Use this review to set intentions for the coming week, focusing on specific actions that align with your goal of continuous improvement. This practice reinforces accountability and keeps you mindful of your standards. A key aspect of raising standards is self-discipline. High standards require commitment, and sometimes that means making difficult choices, like saying no to distractions or cutting out habits that don't support your goals. By practicing discipline, you build the resilience needed to stay aligned with your standards, even when things get challenging. Over time, this self-discipline becomes a strength that supports every aspect of your personal growth journey. In summary, raising your standards is about pushing yourself to grow and refusing to settle for less than your best. By setting specific goals, embracing a mindset of continuous improvement, and practicing self-discipline, you create a foundation for meaningful success. The next time you set a goal or take on a task, ask yourself, how can I do this at the highest level possible? This commitment to excellence, practiced consistently, will set you apart and elevate every area of your life. 6. Embrace adaptability. The sixth strategy to outthink everyone is to embrace adaptability. Life is full of unexpected changes, new challenges, and evolving circumstances. By learning to adapt rather than rigidly sticking to a single approach, you gain the flexibility to adjust to new information, pivot when necessary, and find creative solutions to complex problems. Adaptability is not about abandoning your goals or values. It's about recognizing that the path to success often requires adjusting your methods to fit the current situation. Adaptability is a strength that keeps you grounded and resilient, even when things don't go as planned. The Stoics understood this concept well, emphasizing that while we can't control external events, we can always control our reactions. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This perspective reminds us that adaptability is about maintaining inner control in the face of changing circumstances, allowing you to stay focused without being thrown off course. In practice, embracing adaptability starts with being open to change and staying curious. When faced with a challenge, instead of resisting, consider asking yourself, "What can I learn from this? How can I approach this differently?" This mindset shifts your focus from rigidly following a single path to exploring multiple strategies and options, making you more prepared to handle unexpected turns. A helpful exercise to develop adaptability is the pivot and plan technique. This involves planning for flexibility by envisioning multiple ways to achieve your goals. Think about the possible obstacles you might encounter and develop alternative approaches in advance. For example, if you're working on a project and suddenly face a resource shortage, rather than seeing it as a dead end, consider it a prompt to think creatively, find alternative resources, adjust your timeline, or prioritize tasks differently. Consider the example of a business leader who faces sudden changes in market demand. Instead of sticking to outdated practices, adaptable leaders assess the new landscape, learn from competitors, and adjust their strategies to meet current needs. By doing so, they keep the business resilient and relevant. This ability to pivot is a key skill in any field, whether you're leading a team, managing personal projects, or pursuing a new skill. Another way to foster adaptability is through active learning. Embrace opportunities to learn new skills, seek out diverse perspectives, and challenge your own assumptions. Studies in cognitive psychology show that learning new skills enhances cognitive flexibility, which is essential for adaptability. By broadening your knowledge and skills, you're better equipped to handle unforeseen challenges and seize new opportunities. Adaptability also requires emotional flexibility. Sometimes, unexpected changes can trigger frustration or stress, but by practicing emotional resilience, you can keep your emotions in check and approach situations with a clear mind. Techniques like mindfulness and deep breathing can help maintain composure, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively when plans go awry. This emotional control not only helps you stay focused, but also enables you to make more effective decisions. A practical way to build adaptability into your routine is the weekly flexibility check-in. At the end of each week, reflect on moments when you had to adapt to unexpected circumstances. Consider what worked, what didn't, and how you could respond more effectively in the future. This self-reflection reinforces a flexible mindset and prepares you to handle similar situations in the future. Let's look at a broader example. Imagine an athlete preparing for a major competition. A sudden injury forces them to adjust their training routine, but instead of giving up, they find alternative exercises, focus on recovery, and train their mental strength. This ability to adapt keeps them engaged and resilient, even in the face of setbacks, ultimately contributing to their long-term success. Adaptability allows you to stay committed to your goals, even if the route to reaching them changes. From a philosophical perspective, adaptability aligns with the Buddhist concept of non-attachment. Buddhists believe that suffering often comes from clinging to a specific outcome or expectation. By practicing non-attachment, you become more open to change and better equipped to handle the impermanence of life. Similarly, adaptability encourages you to stay focused on your goals without becoming overly attached to a specific method or timeline. In summary, embracing adaptability is about staying open, flexible, and willing to adjust when circumstances require it. By cultivating a mindset that welcomes change, you become better equipped to navigate challenges, learn from experiences, and find innovative solutions. The next time you face an unexpected turn, remind yourself to pivot, learn, and move forward. Adaptability is a skill that not only helps you achieve your goals, but also keeps you resilient no matter what life throws your way. 7. Develop emotional control. The seventh strategy to outthink everyone is to develop emotional control. Emotional control is the ability to manage your feelings so they don't dictate your actions, especially in high-stakes or challenging situations. By mastering your emotions, you make decisions with clarity, stay calm under pressure, and avoid impulsive reactions that can derail your progress. Emotional control isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about recognizing them and choosing how to respond thoughtfully. The Stoics viewed emotional control as essential to living a balanced life. They believed that external events don't cause distress. Rather, it's our interpretation of those events that leads to emotional turmoil. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius advises, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This insight highlights that while we can't control everything that happens, we can always control how we react. A helpful first step in developing emotional control is to practice awareness of your triggers. Take note of situations or people that tend to elicit strong emotional reactions. By identifying these triggers, you can better prepare yourself to respond calmly when they arise. For example, if you know that a particular person or topic often frustrates you, plan how you will handle it ahead of time, whether it's taking a deep breath, using humor, or politely excusing yourself from the conversation. This awareness gives you a head start on maintaining control over your response. A practical technique to reinforce emotional control is the pause and reflect method. When you feel an intense emotion rising, take a moment to pause, breathe, and reflect before reacting. Ask yourself, how do I want to handle this? Will this reaction serve my long-term goals? This brief pause allows your mind to shift from an emotional response to a more rational, measured one. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to manage emotions, even in challenging situations. Consider the example of a professional receiving unexpected criticism. An impulsive reaction might be defensive, but with emotional control, they can take a moment to assess the feedback objectively. This measured response not only preserves their composure, but also allows them to view the criticism constructively, identifying ways to improve. Emotional control empowers you to learn and grow, even when faced with uncomfortable situations. Another tool for building emotional control is mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness teaches you to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment, making it easier to detach from immediate reactions. Research shows that mindfulness improves emotional regulation by helping individuals become more aware of their emotional states and respond with greater calm and clarity. A regular mindfulness practice can help you become less reactive and more intentional in your interactions. In addition to mindfulness, reframing is a valuable tool for managing emotions. Reframing involves changing your perspective on a situation to reduce its emotional impact. For example, if a project you're working on doesn't go as planned, you might feel frustration or disappointment. But by reframing the experience as a learning opportunity, you shift your focus from the setback to the valuable insights you gained. This shift in perspective helps you maintain emotional stability and resilience. Another helpful exercise for developing emotional control is the journal of reflection. At the end of each day, reflect on moments when your emotions influenced your actions, both positively and negatively. Write down how you felt, how you responded, and what you could do differently in similar situations in the future. This practice allows you to track your progress, understand your emotional patterns, and reinforce habits that support emotional control. Let's look at a practical example of emotional control. Imagine a leader in a high-stress environment, like an emergency room physician. In moments of crisis, they may feel fear, anxiety, or frustration. But emotional control allows them to focus, make rational decisions, and support their team. By staying calm, they lead effectively, creating an environment where others can also remain composed and perform at their best. This ability to control emotions under pressure is a key skill in high-stakes professions, but is valuable in everyday life as well. From a philosophical perspective, developing emotional control aligns with the Buddhist principle of detachment. In Buddhism, detachment involves accepting things as they are without becoming overly attached to any specific outcome or feeling. This detachment allows individuals to experience emotions without being controlled by them, leading to a more peaceful and centered existence. In summary, the strategy of developing emotional control is about learning to manage your reactions, making thoughtful decisions, and staying focused on your goals. By building habits like mindfulness, reframing, and self-reflection, you cultivate the ability to respond to life's challenges with clarity and resilience. The next time you feel an intense emotion, pause and remember, you have the power to choose your response. This control not only enhances your mental strength, but also helps you navigate life's complexities with calm and confidence. 8. Sharpen observation skills. The 8th strategy to outthink everyone is to sharpen your observation skills. Observation goes beyond simply seeing. It involves actively noticing details, analyzing patterns, and understanding context. In any field, whether it's business, sports, or daily interactions, those who pay attention to subtle cues often have a strategic advantage. By honing your observation skills, you can anticipate others' actions, identify opportunities, and make informed decisions that set you apart. The Stoics believed in the importance of mindfulness and paying close attention to the present moment. By focusing fully on what's happening around you, you can make better judgments and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe always that everything is the result of change, and get used to thinking that there is nothing nature loves so well as to change existing forms and to make new ones like them." This approach of continuous observation allows us to adapt and respond to the dynamics of life with greater insight. One effective way to sharpen your observation skills is through active listening. Often, we're so focused on what we want to say next that we miss key details in what others are saying. Active listening involves fully focusing on the speaker, observing their tone, body language, and choice of words. By doing this, you can gain insights into their intentions, emotions, and motivations, which can help you respond more effectively. This skill is particularly useful in negotiations, interviews, and personal relationships. Another technique for enhancing observation is the mindful awareness practice. This involves paying close attention to small details in your surroundings or interactions. For instance, if you're at a social event, try observing people's body language, noticing who's engaged in conversation and who appears uncomfortable or disinterested. This practice not only improves your observational skills, but also helps you understand social dynamics, enabling you to adapt your approach as needed. Consider the example of a detective solving a case. Detectives rely on observation to piece together clues, noticing things that others might overlook. By observing body language, facial expressions, and small details at a crime scene, they can uncover insights that lead to solving the case. While most of us aren't detectives, we can apply this level of attention to detail in our everyday lives, whether it's in a work setting, social environment, or personal relationships. Another practical way to enhance your observation skills is by keeping an observation journal. At the end of each day, write down details you noticed throughout the day. Conversations, interactions, or changes in your environment. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to notice patterns and subtle cues, making you more perceptive. This journal also serves as a tool for reflection, helping you to recognize any recurring behaviors or patterns that could provide strategic insights. Observation also involves self-awareness. Being observant of your own thoughts, behaviors, and reactions can help you understand your tendencies and improve how you handle different situations. By noting when you're stressed, distracted, or reactive, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and can make adjustments to enhance your focus and interactions. This self-observation not only aids personal growth, but also reinforces your ability to read others accurately. Let's consider a scenario where sharpened observation skills make a difference. Imagine you're negotiating a business deal. During the conversation, you notice subtle shifts in the other person's body language and tone, suggesting discomfort when discussing certain terms. By picking up on these cues, you adjust your approach, offering flexibility in a way that respects their concerns. This level of observation increases your chances of reaching a favorable outcome, as you're not just listening to what's being said, but understanding what's left unsaid. Sharpening observation skills also aligns with the concept of non-judgmental awareness. This means observing situations and people without immediately forming opinions or assumptions. By doing so, you gain a clearer, unbiased understanding of what's happening, enabling you to make more informed decisions. Practicing non-judgmental awareness can be as simple as observing interactions without trying to interpret them immediately, just noting the details as they are. In summary, sharpening your observation skills gives you a strategic edge by helping you notice the finer details that others may overlook. Through active listening, mindful awareness, and non-judgmental observation, you enhance your ability to understand people and situations, making better decisions in the process. The next time you're in a meeting, conversation, or social setting, take a moment to observe without distraction. You'll find that with practice, this skill becomes an invaluable asset in all areas of your life. 9. Practice self-reflection. The 9th strategy to outthink everyone is to practice self-reflection. Self-reflection is the process of examining your thoughts, actions, and decisions to gain insight into what works, what doesn't, and where you can improve. By reflecting on your experiences, you not only learn from mistakes, but also identify patterns, refine strategies, and cultivate self-awareness. This habit of regularly analyzing your choices sets you on a path of continuous growth, allowing you to adapt and improve more effectively than those who simply react to life's circumstances. The Stoics placed great emphasis on self-reflection as a tool for personal growth and wisdom. Seneca wrote, "We should every night call ourselves to an account. What infirmity have I mastered today? What passions opposed? What temptation resisted? What virtue acquired?" This practice of daily reflection is about holding yourself accountable, understanding your motivations, and refining your character over time. For the Stoics, self-reflection was a means to live in alignment with their values and maintain clarity in the face of life's challenges. A practical way to incorporate self-reflection is by maintaining a daily reflection journal. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to jot down your experiences, both positive and negative. Reflect on what went well, what challenges you faced, and how you responded. By doing this consistently, you create a record of your personal growth and identify areas where you can improve. Over time, this practice provides a roadmap of your journey, showing you how far you've come and what lessons you've learned along the way. Another effective method for self-reflection is the 3 questions exercise. At the end of each week, ask yourself 3 key questions. What did I do well? What could I have done differently? What will I focus on next week to improve? This structured approach keeps self-reflection focused and actionable, helping you turn insights into specific goals for the future. The act of writing down these reflections also solidifies the insights, making them more memorable and impactful. Consider a practical example. Imagine you're working on a big project that didn't go as planned. Instead of simply moving on, self-reflection encourages you to examine what led to the outcome. Was it a lack of preparation, poor communication, or maybe an unforeseen obstacle? By reflecting, you gain clarity on what factors influenced the project's outcome, allowing you to make adjustments for next time. This process helps you avoid repeating the same mistakes and encourages a mindset of growth and resilience. Self-reflection also aligns with the growth mindset, a concept popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset is the belief that skills and abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Self-reflection is a key component of this mindset because it reinforces the idea that we can learn from our experiences and continue improving. People with a growth mindset view setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and grow, making self-reflection an essential tool for progress. Another way to deepen your self-reflection practice is through feedback from others. While personal reflection is valuable, external feedback can provide insights that we might miss on our own. Seeking constructive feedback from trusted friends, colleagues, or mentors helps you see your blind spots and gain new perspectives on your actions. Combining self-reflection with external feedback gives you a more well-rounded understanding of your strengths and areas for improvement. Let's consider an example from the perspective of a professional athlete. After each game or competition, athletes often review footage of their performance to analyze their moves, techniques, and decisions. By reviewing what worked and what didn't, they gain insights that guide their training and help them refine their approach. This commitment to continuous improvement through reflection enables them to stay competitive and achieve peak performance. Similarly, regular self-reflection in any field keeps you sharp, focused, and aware of your growth areas. To make self-reflection a habit, Try setting aside a dedicated time each week for a reflection session. During this time, review your goals, analyze recent decisions, and consider what lessons you've learned. By setting aside regular time for this practice, you reinforce its importance and ensure that reflection becomes a consistent part of your life, not just something you do occasionally. In summary, practicing self-reflection is a powerful tool for growth, self-awareness, and improvement. By regularly examining your actions, learning from experiences, and setting new goals, you maintain a cycle of continuous progress. The next time you face a challenge or achieve a goal, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned and how you can apply those insights moving forward. Self-reflection is more than a habit. It's a commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. 10. Cultivate patience. The 10th and final strategy to outthink everyone is to cultivate patience. Patience is a crucial quality for achieving long-term success, as it allows you to remain committed to your goals without rushing the process. In a world that emphasizes quick wins and instant gratification, those who can take a step back, embrace the journey, and stay focused over time have a significant advantage. Patience isn't about inaction or waiting passively. It's about understanding that great results often require time, dedication, and persistence. The Stoics held patience as a key virtue. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time." This Stoic insight reminds us that many of life's greatest achievements, whether in relationships, career, or personal growth, cannot be rushed. Patience allows you to stay committed, even when results aren't immediate, and to recognize that meaningful progress often builds slowly. A helpful way to cultivate patience is by setting long-term goals and breaking them down into manageable steps. By focusing on small, achievable milestones, you create a sense of progress without becoming discouraged by the time required to reach the larger goal. For instance, if you're working toward a major career milestone, outline specific skills or projects you can work on each month. This approach reinforces the idea that patience isn't about waiting idly. It's about steadily building toward a goal over time. Another practical exercise for building patience is the one small win technique. Each day, aim to achieve one small goal that contributes to your larger objective. This daily commitment reminds you that progress is happening, even if it's gradual. Over time, these small wins add up, creating a sense of momentum and reducing the impatience that comes with wanting immediate results. Consider the example of someone training for a marathon. Rushing the process could lead to injury or burnout, but by embracing patience, they can build their endurance gradually, following a structured training plan. Each run, each week of training, is a small step toward the larger goal. This patient approach not only prevents setbacks, but also ensures they're building the strength and stamina needed to succeed. In any pursuit, whether physical, professional, or personal, patience provides the foundation for sustainable growth and long-term success. Patience also has an important psychological benefit. It reduces stress. Studies show that people who are patient experience lower levels of stress and greater overall life satisfaction. When you're focused on the journey rather than rushing toward the destination, you're able to enjoy the process, which reduces anxiety and improves mental well-being. This mindset not only helps you stay calm, but also enhances your focus, allowing you to make better decisions Mindfulness practices can be particularly helpful for cultivating patience. By staying present and fully engaged in each moment, you're less likely to feel rushed or pressured. Mindfulness encourages you to focus on the task at hand rather than worrying about the outcome or the time it will take to get there. Practicing mindfulness even for a few minutes each day can help reinforce a patient, grounded mindset. Another practical way to build patience is to celebrate progress, not just results. Often, impatience arises because we're so focused on the final outcome that we forget to appreciate the progress we're making. By acknowledging each step forward, no matter how small, you cultivate gratitude and a positive attitude toward your journey. This shift in focus helps you stay motivated and patient, even when the end goal feels distant. A helpful mantra for reinforcing patience is trust the process. Whenever you feel impatient or frustrated by slow progress, repeat this phrase to yourself. Remind yourself that lasting change takes time and that each step, however small, is part of a bigger picture. This mindset not only builds patience, but also strengthens your commitment to the journey, making you less likely to give up when things get tough. In summary, cultivating patience is about embracing the journey, valuing steady progress, and remaining committed to your goals over the long term. Patience allows you to maintain resilience, focus, and calm, even when results take time. The next time you feel impatient or frustrated, take a moment to breathe. Remind yourself to trust the process and focus on the progress you're making. Patience is a powerful tool that, when practiced consistently, helps you achieve sustainable success and lasting fulfillment. These 10 strategies provide a framework for achieving success through focus, adaptability, and resilience. By applying them, you'll build mental strength and make thoughtful decisions that set you apart. Remember, it's about consistent growth, not instant results. If you found value in this episode, please like, subscribe, and share to support others on this journey. Let's keep growing together.